Okay, so this is going to be the 5 reasons that you're editing slow and how to fix it. And I'm not really going to talk about the confirm edit on release versus like double edit binds thing. I use double edit binds, so to start my edit, I use E. I select it with left mouse click and then confirm it with my forward mouse button. And I haven't played in about a week, so yeah, it's going to be scuffed. I should have done a warm up before this, but don't worry about it. Also, the whole like I saw a lot of people saying like use triple edit binds. My keyboard software doesn't allow me to. I can only change the F1 through F12 keys. So I use a Logitech G413 Carbine or Carbon. I think it's Carbon. So I cannot change that. I can't allow it won't allow me to change it so that I can use it. And if you use your mouse software, which for me is a Logitech G Pro Hero, which you can change it on your mouse software, but then you have a delay. And I know there's like third-party programs and stuff, but a lot of them are like pay or something, and I'm not dealing with that. So let's just get into this. And so the big number one, you're not practicing. You can't expect to get better if you're not practicing. So just what I did was I ran the same thing over and over and over and over again. I ran Raider 464's Edit Race 2. I ran the Impossible course until I could do it nearly flawlessly. I did it over and over again until I felt confident. And then after that, it's really helpful to just like... There's so many edits in that like you don't think about, but you will use them. You'll think, oh, I'll never use it, but you'd be surprised. But you can do that if you want. Just go to an edit course. Go to the hardest spot, or work your way up, I guess. Probably should work your way up. Don't just throw yourself into it like I did. And run it over and over and over again. And when I first swapped to double edit binds, I didn't do that. I swapped in about Season 8 because Arena had just come out. And, I mean, I was using one bind and I was using G, which we'll touch on later. But you should, like, you have to practice. Just do it over and over again if you have to. Well, you're going to, so there's number one. Just don't stop practicing. And as you can tell, like I said, I haven't played in a week. I bet if I try to build or anything, yeah, I'm gonna mess up because I don't know what I'm doing because I haven't played this game in over a week. Also, this is really bad. I did not expect to be this bad. At least my timing's alright. Free building a little bit here. Oh, that's another thing. Free building. Great way to practice. Probably better than an edit course. Because you're doing... Instead of just doing the same thing over and over again, you start to memorize that course. Which I noticed I definitely memorized that course. So all of a sudden, I knew what to do next. And then all of a sudden it just... muscle memory, which you're gonna need. You definitely have to have muscle memory, but not in the way that you just know everything that's about to happen. And there we go, I'm starting to get warmed up. But, on to number two. And number two would be your timing. So, when I first swapped to double edit binds, a simple little edit like this, I couldn't do it because swapping to double binds is one of the hardest things I did. Because you think, oh, it's really easy, but really, if you want to do it quickly, on one bind you could do it and just press E, select it, and press E again. So that was kind of easier to figure out. But on double binds, you have to make sure you don't press your left mouse button or whatever your other, like double bind is, whatever your second bind is if you're on double edits. You have to make sure you don't place it before you select it and just cancel it. Which I did a lot. Or you don't like have a delay. Like if I open my edit mode and then I just like wait to select the square and then I wait to confirm it afterwards, that's not going to work. You want to try to hit First, I would say practice selecting your edit and starting your edit at the same time, so that you never see the blue part. It's instantly there, selected. That way, you're getting used to the flow of just clicking them at nearly the same time, but not exactly, so that you don't, like, do that. And then after that, I would say open your edits and then get used to selecting and confirming it really quickly, so that you never see it select and then confirm, and then just like put them together. And then try to just do double edits where you do it twice. Another great thing is if you edit a window here, you can like spam the bottom of it so that like you get your timing warmed up, get your fingers ready. And then you get used to it. And if you're trying to start with double edits, do it twice so that you know what you have to do. And make sure that you always finish with whichever one you started on, so that you know you did it twice. I did that like every time I would get on. I'd start with that. Or I would do pyramid edits and stuff like that, so that you could warm yourself up. You just need to get used to the timing of it. And if you're on confirm edit on release or just one bind, it's not quite as bad. The big part with confirm edit on release is you have to get used to releasing your finger. Now, I'm not on confirm edit on release, so I can't really show that, but like, you have to get used to trying to release your finger as fast as possible. Here, I'll go to it real quick if I can find it. It's not that hard to find, apparently. But you have to get used to trying to release it as fast as possible. And the big bonus with confirm edit on release, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's scroll wheel reset, which is why people say go to triple binds. Like I said, I can't. If you can, definitely go triple binds. That is probably the best way you could ever go, because you get the best of both worlds. Now, when you go double binds, you do lose a your mouse button or whatever your other bind is, and a lot of people are always saying that you got to try to keep that free so that you can use it for like stare or something. But you don't have to have perfectly optimal binds. Look at Booga. Like, he won the World Cup with possibly the worst binds I have ever seen. So, yeah. Timing. Work at it when you're practicing. Every morning when whenever you get on. Every time you get on, just sit there and try to get used to timing. And get into the rhythm of it so that you can just sit there editing it. Used to when you could float, that was amazing. That was fun. On to number 3, which is going to be your keybinds. Don't use something that's really awful. Like, I know I said your keybinds aren't that important, but like, they have to be somewhat optimized. Unless you're a freak of nature like Booga is, who's been playing this game for 3,000 hours or something like that. If you have enough time on it, yeah, it can be fast. But you could always be faster. I went from G, right? And you're going to improve a lot if you go to E. Or F. Or if you tilt your keyboard a little bit. Or if you're on controller, I don't know. I play controller sometimes, so use like left stick down and right stick down to do it. Where am I going? Oh yeah. I got lost. I started talking about controller and my mind went blank. No, but use something that's close to your index finger or your thumb, so that if you use your thumb, the great thing is that you can keep movement free, so that you can move in all directions while editing. Since I use E, when I go to do an edit, I can't do the edit where you like do that. I can't run through it if I'm doing it, but I can do it to the left because I can hold my A button down so that I can move to the left, but I can't move to the right. It also makes, like, if I were gonna edit something there, when I did that jump out, it would have made it 1,000 times harder. Or you can set up a separate movement bind on like your B key or V key so that you can hold that while you're editing instead. Or do it right or did and make your edit button D, which is kind of odd, but it works. If you can get used to moving with B, which I can't. If I spend enough time with it though, yes I could. I'm fast like I am, because I'm used to it. And I have pretty optimal binds. So don't be running around with your edit button on like H or something, because that's so hard to get to unless you have giant hands that you're never going to be able to, like, you can't swap between editing and building fast enough like that unless you have like 40 mouse buttons. But yeah, what are we on? On to number 4. Number 4 is going to be your crosshair placement. This should go along with while you're practicing and stuff and warming up. Really focus that you're barely moving your mouse. You want the smallest distance you can, so that when you're editing like this, you can't hardly tell that you're moving, because if you're making these long things over, you can't do it as fast because you have to go so much farther. And unless you're on a really high sensitivity, like, you're just not going to be able to keep up. So you do have to try to hit the smallest little, like, be as close to the inside of these. So if you're going to do, like, let's say you're going to do a top corner edit, you want to start as close to here as possible and just barely do anything. Or, yeah, if you're doing one of these 4 corner edits, it's not really, whatever. If you're going to do these 4, move in as close as possible to all of them. Don't do these big things out here. Like, you see so many people go for an edit and they just, like, wind it way out. But if you were to just, like, barely move your crosshair at all, it's so much better because you can confirm it so much sooner. And that kind of goes with timing, because you have to be able to confirm it after you do it. Now, the problem with crosshair placement is if you're not used to it and you're really focusing on trying to get these, you're going to do something like this and then you'll confirm it too early. Or you'll miss. So if I was going to try to start with this one, which I usually do, I might miss and only get this one and then think, oh, I'm done now. And then you'll confirm it and you're not. So, yeah, make sure that you definitely have your crosshair placement good. So number 5 is going to be your mentality. You're getting discouraged. You're sitting there and you just got killed because you couldn't do the edit because you changed your binds or something and you pressed the wrong button. You have to think about it as, if I keep trying this, I'll get faster. I'll get better and I can do it. So just, like, keep running it. You have to keep it going. And eventually, like so when I first started in, like, season 8, it was awful. I would sit there and I'd be sitting there in arena or something with my friend, and we'd go to rotate or something, and Storm would be right at our backs as we're being pushed, and I would go and I'd mess up an edit 40 times and die to Storm, just because I simply couldn't do it. Well, now I would never have that problem, because I then went into creative and just kept doing it over and over again until eventually I got it. And I mean, you can't let your mentality stop you from trying to do it. Like, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. That was really all I have for you, and I hope I helped. If not, that sucks. Goodbye.